This is Road to the Golden Door, where we unpack the proven success formula straight from the minds of Golden Door winners, uncovering the motivation, methods, and the mindset it takes to become an elite performer in door-to-door sales and in life. This is Road to the Golden Door. Now, here's your host, Mikey Lucas.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back. Road to the Golden Door. Got another really special guest for you here. This story is going to be very interesting. You're going to want to stick around for this one because we have a teenager Golden Door Award winner who is a sales manager over in California with V3 Electric, one of my boys, Alec. And you just came off your Golden Door year. You've been in solar since you were 14 years old. The kid's 19 now, and yeah, I'm very excited about this. So Oscar Pena, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, happy to be here.
Let's go, dude. So I kind of like to start the show off with kind of like an introduction of your idea of who you are. So for everyone that doesn't know Oscar Pena, who is Oscar Pena?
Oscar Pena, that's me. So I'm just a Mexican kid who grew up in a small town in the Inland Empire. Nothing crazy, just a kid that really loved his mom, really loved his family, and thankfully was able to find his purpose at a very young age and was around the right people. And thanks to that, that's my success. I'd be nothing without the story, without the people.
Love that. So in our pre-show, because I've been following you really, I believe this entire year. I know that we were talking about you doing some social media stuff here, so I'm excited to kind of dive into that a little bit too. But let's go back to the 2024 year. You hit Golden Door. You were basically 18, turning 19 years old. You got 119 points to hit your Golden Door. So it's, Golden Door is technically 100 points. So great job on that. Let's go back to that year. Bring me into January 2024. Where was your mind at? Were you trying to hit Golden Door? Was it just some random thing? Like, where were you at?
Yeah. So 2023 on December, I actually had a huge whiteboard in my room with $1 million earned, reverse engineered. So because from 17 to 18, I made my first 100 grand, my first 6 figures, still in high school. So I was like, wow, if I could do this in high school, what can I do once I graduate, right? Once I have no school. So in 2023 of December, I was like, okay, 2024, 18 and 19, what do I want? I had a good year, take care of mom, take care of my sisters. What's the goal? And the goal was just to hit anywhere from 500 to 1 million. Worst case scenario, we do 500. Best case scenario, we do over 1 million, right? So always plan for the worst. Best case scenario, you get the best. So I followed a lot of people on Instagram who did solar. Like back then, Simple Solar was popping. Not sure if you remember Simple Solar.
Yep.
With Mo Falah. Yeah. So I actually went to the Door Con on 2023, and I spoke to Mo. He probably doesn't remember me, right? But I spoke to Mo that day that I was there, and I asked him like, "Hey, I'm in high school, doing solar, doing pretty good. What would you say is like my next steps, right? Or like, what do you think I should focus on?" And because I told him that I was also having some troubles with family telling me to take the easy route, like you already did good, now just play it safe. And I was telling them that I'm not going to go to college. I'm just gonna work. And I told Mo that, like, what do I do? Because I'm kind of overwhelmed, right? Like, I've helped my family, I've done good, but they still want me to play it safe. And I know it's out of love, right? I know it's out of love, but it is kind of overwhelming because they're not really on my side. And Mo literally told me, don't listen to anybody who doesn't have what you have. And that's always that's always stuck with me since he told me that. And like, he literally told me like a word by word example to say to family. He said like, Mom, Dad, I love you, but unfortunately you guys don't have what I want. So I just can't listen to you guys, but I love you guys. And I know you guys just care about me. And I told that to my mom and to a Mexican mom, and so it didn't go too good. But me and my mom, like, we've been through it, like super tight relationship, so it was all good. She understood. She still supported me. Obviously, had her little like she didn't want me to do it too much, but she still supported me. So then after that, I hustled in solar super hard, setting a bunch of appointments, getting them closed. I actually built like a little team within my high school with a bunch of other setters. I had like five guys. Yeah, I had like five high schoolers knocking, and we were all knocking. We were all in the trenches together. It's like, because it's kind of hard doing it by yourself. So I was 17. I was like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, I got homework to do, and then I got to knock these doors, and I'm by myself. I have no one that I relate to. So I posted on my Instagram, like, who's trying to make 10K a month? And a bunch of guys, like 3-4 guys hit me up, right? Some people thought I was crazy. But 3-4 guys joined the movement. Those guys are still with me to this day. And they're absolutely killing it too. So we've been through it. Those are my day ones. And yeah, we were all just after school, knocking doors, setting appointments. Alexis would close in for me, my mentor. And yeah, just right after school, 3 p.m., I'd go knock until like 8 or 9, and then I'd have homework to do from like 9:30 to 10:30. Then I would go hit the gym at 10:30 to like midnight, and then have school in the morning. And that was my routine during high school. And then I realized that I made over 100 grand towards like November, and I was like, oh shoot, like this has been a good year. 2024 is going to be massive, right? I built this little team. I have more people coming. I'm about to I turned 18, so I got my ATIS license. I'm closing now. Those guys are now setting for me, and I'm closing. What should we aim for next year? And the goal was, I want to be a millionaire, right? Everybody wants to be a millionaire. That's like that's everybody's goal. I want to be a millionaire. But I had to figure out, what does it take to be a millionaire, right? Because it's not like how much money you make, but like what kind of person do you have to be a millionaire? Yeah. Which is what my mentors always told me too. It's like, you can't just work and try to make $1 million. You have to be the person that deserves $1 million. So even since I was 18, it's been on my head, like, the way I do one thing is the way I do everything. So take care of my family, be nice, take care of what needs to be taken care of, treat others well, work super hard. Just every part of my life has to be literally super dialed. And yeah, that was the mentality. I reverse engineered how many appointments I have to close, right? How many installs I need. And I wrote it on my whiteboard on December. And then January, I moved out of my mom's into a luxury apartment, moved to a luxury apartment. As soon as I turned 18, pretty much I just moved out. Tell my mom, I love you, mom, but I'm going to go find myself. I'm going to go for this big goal. I love you. Nothing personal. My mom actually cried when I left. She was so emotional because I was 18. I'm the youngest one of her kids too. I have 2 older sisters, and I have a stepbrother too, an older stepbrother, but not my mom, so not too close as I'd like. But my mama's. I was her little boy, and her little boy left super early. But she knew, like, my mom has always supported me. Like, she's always told me like this sucks. Like, I don't want you to do this. Like, I just want you to be safe. Like, I love you. And I tell my mom, like, something that's always stuck with me is like, seek to understand to be understood. So like when my mom would get mad at me, or when like people would be against me, like, they're only doing it because they care. Right? So that's another thing that really fixed my my mental health, because I had everybody against me at such a young age, and I was aiming for this huge goal. But I was like, these people care about me. These people want the best for me. So I'm just gonna take it with a grain of salt. They love me. I love them. No biggie. But they don't have what I want. They don't think like I do. So no biggie. So I moved out into a luxury apartment at 18 by myself. And the reason I did it is, like, I kind of wanted to just isolate myself and like get rid of like any thought that would maybe bring me down. So every night, like, I'd stay up super late, just like thinking, journaling, writing on the whiteboard, planning out my week, planning out the month, planning out what exactly are my intentions for this year. And I didn't really know about Golden Door too much until like January or February. I just knew I wanted to be a millionaire. But if you're a Golden Door, you're probably a millionaire. So I went for the Golden Door goal when I went to V3. When I was at the power project, the dealer that I owned with Alexis, I was like, I'm just gonna make $1 million this year. And then I went to V3 Electric, and they told me like, oh, you have a good amount of installs. You have self gens too, like you should go for Golden Door. And I was like, oh, well, what's Golden Door? And they told me it's 200 setter closer or 100 self gens. Like, oh, okay, I can do that easy because that was literally my plan to make $1 million. Right? So, so I was like, oh, like I'm already going for that. I didn't know I would get an award. Like, so you're telling me I get $1 million and I still get to go on stage and get an award? Like, like that's awesome. Let's do it. But in reality, like it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, just because like it's super exhausting mentally. Like literally clock in like at 8, 9, and you get home like at 11 p.m. Sometimes 12. Like I've closed a deal like at 1 a.m. and it's like I had to close that deal because I had to hit my quota. But before I knew I was going for a Golden Door, I wanted to make $1 million, and in reality, like I was just doing the most that I could do every single day, because like worst case scenario, like I can't hit all of these, so I'm just gonna do the most I can do every single day. So every day I throw myself in as many appointments as I can. I set as many as I can and close as many as I can. That's it. That was my life. Like running training for the guys in the morning, and then close all day, set all day, just work my butt off, whatever it takes mentality. And that's basically what I did. Like nothing else mattered but closing as many deals as I can to be that man that can take care of my family, right? Because behind everything was my purpose. Like I don't know if I should get into this right now, but yeah, cool. But I always tell anybody and everybody, like before you go for something super intense, super hard, you have to find your purpose. I would have never been able to do what I done if I never found my purpose. Like I'm so thankful I was able to find my purpose at 14 because of Alexis. Right? So like I always tell myself like I'm so grateful for capturing the opportunity, because like me meeting Alexis was like that was like luck, right? If I would have never met him, like who knows if I would be here, because like the right information like literally changes your life. The wrong information does the exact same thing. And thanks to God, like I got put in the right information. Like I grew up 14 years old where everybody either grows up to be a gangster in my city or a bum or just like a normal college student. But no one ever becomes a millionaire. But I knew someone who was, and I literally just followed his footsteps. I was like, you have what I want. Like you literally have what I want, so I'm just gonna listen to you. I'm not gonna listen to anybody else but you. Like, where do I start? He told me, you have to find your purpose. You have to find your purpose. Like doing what I do or what others that I hang around with do, we're not normal. So like, accept that you're not normal. Like you're not going to be normal. And I was like, what do you mean? Like you have to literally think different. Like everybody who doesn't have what you want, they don't think the way that I think. They don't think the way that Brian thinks. It's impossible. Because it's not like the money that you have, but it's the person that you are. And to get that money, you have to be a certain person. Those certain people are not normal, right? It's like 1%ers. And I was like, okay, so like, where do I start? It's like, well, you have to work for something very meaningful. You can't work for nothing. Like especially in solar. Like solar, I mean, it sells itself, right? But door to door in general, right? Like you're knocking doors in the sun, getting rejected 10 hours a day. Like it's not an easy job. like I've heard people say it's like one of the hardest jobs like in the world, right? And it's like, what person would want to do the hardest job in the world, right? For something meaningful. You can't do it for money, because if you do it for money, you're doing it for yourself, and it's very easy to give up when you're doing it for yourself. So I had to find out, why am I doing this? Because if I do this for myself, it's easier to give up. But if you're doing it for something bigger than yourself, you can't give up, because it's not even about you anymore. It's about your people, your family, whatever your purpose is. So something big that I do with every guy that we bring into our team is you have to find your why. That's the biggest thing. You have to find your why. And how do you find your why? Is you ask yourself why 7 times. And I was 14 years old writing my why on a whiteboard. Like, I always tell myself, like, that's so crazy. Like you don't see that anywhere. But the reason that I was able to do that is because I was taught that at 14 years old. Like, I don't blame others. Like, I don't blame 19-year-olds right now for not having what I have. It's like, you just didn't get placed in opportunity, right? Like, it's not your fault, bro. Like you are what you know. And if you don't know, then you are what you don't know. So I found my why, and not going to go too much into the why, but it's always been my mom. Actually, like, I'll go through it, right? But my why was always my mom. Like, I thought it was my mom, my family. Like, you could ask anybody why they're doing what they're doing, and they'll always say family, right? Or like their mom. Like, it's not like it's not enough. Like you need more clarity on what you're doing for, because you'll be kind of confused if it's just for your family, because you don't know, like, why do I care so much about this, right? Like, a confused mind does nothing. So I needed clarity, and I put my mom. Why my mom? Because she sacrificed so much for me, right? And then why does that matter for me? Because I don't think anybody will ever sacrifice what my mom did for me. Like, it's kind of impossible, right? Like your friends won't do that. Like, why would they? It just doesn't make sense. And that matters to me a lot, because I want to be able to return the favor and do it to my own people, right? Like there's only going to be so many people in your lifetime that will put you first over themselves, and maybe like 5, 10, 20 people, whatever, your family, right? And it's like, out of like the billions of people that exist, only these people did so much for you. Why would you not go above and beyond for them? Like, how would my mom feel if she went through everything just for me to be above? like I would hate myself. And that's what I would think every day. It's like, wow, like, my mom went through all this. Like, she sacrificed her time. Like, if my mom never had me, like, she probably, like, or if my mom never met my dad, like, she probably would have been happier, right? Or whatever it is. But it's too late to even think about that. So what do we do with what we have right now? I'm gonna make sure that what she did was not for nothing. Like that would suck. Like, imagine like your mom doing what she did, and then she passes away knowing that nothing meaningful happened in her life. Like, that's terrible. And it's kind of like a bad way to think, in a sense, because it's like, why are you thinking like that? But it's like, you have to think about those situations to really understand why you're doing what you're doing. And that's what I mean by not being normal. Like, that's not normal to think about, like, your mom passing away, like your mom, like that, like your mom not meeting your dad, like, like if I tell this to a normal person, they're gonna be like, why are you saying that? But it's just like, I love my family so much, and that's my purpose, like, just giving back to the people that I love, because they're the only ones that would do what they've done for me, right? And it's like, if you love your family enough, like, you would get a golden door, right? Like, you would make those $1 million, right? Put that money somewhere else to help your family for generations to come. And it's like, so I would tell myself that every day. Like, I was like, if I don't do the most to get the most every single day, then I don't love my family. Because my why is my mom and my future family, my wife, my kids. Like, if I don't become the best man that I can try to be, I don't love my family. Because if I did, I'd be doing it, right? If I know like, how impactful that can be to them, why would I not do it, right? So when I'm knocking doors, when I'm closing deals, like, it's not about the money. Like, oh, I'm gonna make this much off this homeowner. I'm gonna I'm gonna buy a Lambo, whatever it is. It's like, this is one step closer to being that man for my family. This is one step closer to giving back to my mom. This is one step closer for my kids. This is one step closer for my wife, for my grandpa, for my grandma, right? It's like, it's not about the money. And then indirectly, you start making more money than you've ever made. because you're working towards your why, and that why, that determination behind that why, is making you a certain person that deserves that money. And like I truly believe like that's why I got a Golden Door, and like I'm sure like any Golden Door winner, they go through the exact same stuff because it's hard. It's hard. Like how do you do hard stuff? Like it's 1%ers for a reason that get the Golden Door, not the other 99%. So those 1%ers were not normal, right? So like me, like Zach, Chandler, Cody, like anybody who's gotten a Golden Door, like we're just not normal, and we have to accept it. So we can't do normal things. We can't think normal. Like we're extremists. Like we just default aggressive. And yeah, I'd say like that's like the biggest secret to getting a Golden Door.
Wow.
I don't know. That's too much. Is that good?
No,
That was good.
that was great. There's a lot to unpack there. So I'm very excited about this. I want to bring up really quick. You DM me. So we've been talking since 2022 on Instagram. You DM me February 8th, 2024 and said, "Hey bro, I'm 18, bro. Made my first 100K when I was 17, 18. This year I'm going for 500K."
That's so crazy, huh?
That was 38 days into your Golden Door year.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, I just spoke into existence, right? Because I knew what I wanted, and I knew what it took, and I was willing to do what it takes.
Okay, so let's talk about that really quick because I've got a lot to unpack here. Because there's this idea. So like we're in the beginning of 2025 right now. So we've got a lot of people that are they have the ambition, they have the motivation, they might even have their why and their purpose dialed in.
Yeah.
But they don't go out and do it. And you talked a lot about identity. So I'm assuming there's some sort of personal development, self-mastery journey that you've been on. Why do you think people, I guess, what would have stopped you from hitting this? If you knew everything you knew now, what would have stopped you from hitting your Golden Door?
Well, what would have stopped me? I'd say not knowing what it was going to take. Like it took away time from spending for my family, and I literally wrote that down. Like I'm not going to spend enough time with my family, with my wife, probably not with my kids, right? Friends, because Cody also talks about this a lot. He's like the regional of E3 Electric, but I've also heard it from Alex from Mosey. And when you reverse engineer your goals, you also want to know what would make it impossible to achieve these goals. Because the impossible is going to happen, or there's a chance that it will happen, and if it can happen, then it will happen,
Yeah.
right? So I had to really understand what it was, because I feel like if it would have caught me by surprise, like wow, Julia, my wife, is telling me that I'm not spending enough time with her. Like, oh, should I work a little bit less? My mom wants to hang out this day, whatever it is. Like, huh? I thought I was doing this for my mom, and now I'm not hanging around with her, right? So it's so what I did was I figured out exactly what would make it impossible for me, right? But I had to understand, why is it okay to do the impossible, right? I mean, it's short term, just delayed gratification, right? It's like, okay, for a couple of years, this is what it's gonna take. Am I okay with that? I had to fully digest it, understand, am I okay with that? And if I wasn't okay with that, then I wouldn't have hit a Golden Door. If it would have hit me by surprise, I wouldn't have hit it, because it sucks. it sucks, and it's the impossible that I wasn't, and it's impossible, so you think it's undoable, right? But if you plan for the impossible and you're okay with that, then you can do the impossible. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's going to be a lot of surprises, so many surprises. Like my wife getting pregnant wasn't planned, right? But I say it's God's plan, right? And it was hard. Like Julia, my wife, was pregnant. She needed support. I couldn't be there for her as much as I wish I could have been there, but I planned for it. Like in January, I said this would happen, and it's happening. So, but I understood why. I understood why, and I was okay with it. And I explained to my wife as well, like why it's okay, like what we're doing, like especially with wives and girls, like you gotta sell them the dream, right? It's just like anybody else, sell them the dream, help them understand them, and then they'll understand you. But thankfully, like my wife is super understanding, and that was a big help as well. Um, but I just knew what it was gonna take, and I was okay with it. Some people are not okay with it, right? Like some people don't think it's worth it, like not hanging out with your family long enough, whatever it is, and that's okay, right? You just won't have what others have. Like there's a sacrifice to everything. Like you choose what matters, and I chose what mattered to me because to me that was like the highest form of loving my family, right? So I was okay with it. I felt like if I spend more time with them this last year, that's not me loving them because what about next year? What about the year after, right? So I really had to like understand what I was getting myself into, what it was going to take, and just being okay with it, like being vulnerable, like I've cried to this multiple times, like like it's okay to like be scared. Like I was so scared. Like I was like, damn, moving out, not gonna see my mom as much, who I'm doing this for, but now I'm not spending time with her. Like, why am I like, am I messing up? And then I have to fully write it down, understand it. No, 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 no. Like I'm doing this for her, right? Like I'm not spending time with her for her. It's not because I don't want to spend time with her. It's because of what this is going to do for the next 5, 10, 20, like for the rest of our lives, right? Because like what you did today is like your next 5, 10 years. And I don't know how much more time my mom has. I don't know how much more time like my family has, right? So if this is their last year, I feel like they wouldn't be as proud of me as they are now. So thankfully, because of what I did 4 years ago, my mom is now proud, right? And it was all worth it. I had so much doubt. I didn't know if it was going to be worth it. Oh, it's worth it, right? So to any Golden Door winner or like anybody who's trying to get a Golden Door, it's worth it, right? But understand the cost, and you have to be willing to pay the price, right? Because it takes what it takes, and that's it. Like it takes what it takes, and that's it. Understand what it takes and be willing to do it.
All right, so let me break that down a little bit. I just want to state something really quick because I thought it was really cool. It's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So that was kind of, so I want to kind of understand or break down if we can, I guess, either A, who taught you or where did you learn it from? Or do you have like an experience where, so there's this narrative, let me back up a little bit. There's a narrative about the next generation, your generation and my generation, right? Of how we are overprivileged, not hard workers, lazy, addicted to our phones. And sure, that in some cases, yeah, you're right. That's the case. Even myself, I have that, I guess you can say that issue, but they're sleeping on your generation. They're sleeping on you guys. And I am so excited because with the people that I am around, I do encourage them because I'm like, hey, I'm around 19, 25-year-old kids all day long, young men rather, all day long. And these guys are not what you think they are. Now I get it, whatever, right? Pink hair, blue hair, whatever, bull crap, right? Like, okay, I get that. I get that side of it. I understand it, right? But the young men that I hang around, these people, they got that dog, right? In our conversation. But these people, these young men, they are leaders of today. They're actually going out and getting after it. But at the same time, they were dealt a bad hand, right? From COVID, things like that. You're dealt a bad hand, but it's that adversity that has made you stronger. And now you're going out and getting after it. And then not only that, you're also, you don't take it for granted. You're actually giving other people the opportunity as well, which I think is just so smart, dude. Like, do not forget. This is why I have this show. I didn't forget about where I came. I didn't forget about where I came from. And, if I can help one more person, reach their optimum performance and reach their ultimate destiny, then I'm going to do that. right?
Yeah.
Like that's
And it's a
that's
ripple
ultimately what this
effect.
is about.
Like, I don't mean to
Yeah,
cut you
big
off,
time.
but
You're
it's a
good. You're
ripple
good.
effect. Like one person that I help, they help their family, their kids, you know, their
Yep.
ancestors, you know, whatever it is. It's like one person, you change the whole family, you know? It's beautiful.
Generations,
It's
bro.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Upper two generations up and then generations down, dog.
It's gnarly.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a
And
very
I feel
awesome
like
thing. And
that's so purposeful. Like, I feel like that's another reason why I can keep doing what I do, especially at a young age. It's like I know so many people in my hometown. I've brought so many people from my high school to V3 because they've like they've seen everything, and it makes me want to go harder because it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they're not the way I am. Like, they just didn't know better, right? But now, like, God gave me this knowledge, like this opportunity, and now I can help you guys. Like let's do this. And I feel like it's love, though. You know, it's just like being a good person. You know, like just be a good person, and then good will come back to you.
I love that, dude. I want to talk about something really quick. So there's two things here. Number one is on that specific topic there. When I had my door-to-door sales team, I had pictures of the sales rep or sales manager, whatever, the sales representative, if you will. I had pictures of their husband, their wife, their kids with them, and their moms or their grandmas, whatever was important to them. I would go and find those pictures, got them printed out, and put them on my wall. Because when I would wake up, I would look to the right, and there would be pictures of
They're
the
all counting
children,
on you,
the
bro.
parents. They're counting on me.
Yeah,
They're counting
that's
on me to
huge.
get up and get after it. And I had to find things for me to stay motivated, to stay driven, to stay hungry. And the money for me in the beginning was like, oh yeah, cool. I want to go like make a bunch of money and like, you know, drive like a Tahoe or something, like a cool Tahoe, right? Whatever, or something like whatever, right? Or a cool truck or something like that. And, you know, have like a decent sized house, right? I was funny. I was looking at, in 2019, I was looking at some notes yesterday from my phone, and I saw 2019 to 2025. I typed in 2025 because I was looking for something in my notes, and I saw a note at the very, very bottom that was like all of these things that I wanted to do, and every single one of them I've done. And I was like, yo, this is wild. This is super cool. So the fact that you go back and you actually write things down, it's, again, I'm kind of getting sidetracked here, but anyways, back to that. So I had to find stuff that would keep me motivated because I am a very forgetful person. I like to start things and don't finish them. So for me to be able to finish them, I knew that I had to put things in place for me to remember. So it on the back of my phone, back of my iPad, all over my mirrors, all over my house. I mean, there's whiteboards in my room. There's 3 whiteboards in my room right now. There's a whiteboard outside of my kitchen, and that's with my wife, where she was like, no whiteboards in this house. At my house, before I was married, there was whiteboards in every single room, on the fridge. Like, I mean, there wasn't a blank spot. It was not organized. I didn't really care because it was a bachelor pad. It was what I wanted. There was quotes just everywhere, whether on a sticky note, index card, actual printed out stuff. I had them everywhere. I even had them at my mom's house. I had them on the ceiling because I needed to be reprogrammed. And I kind of want to go into that with you to see kind of what reprogramming you had to do in your self-development, self-mastery journey. Because, dude, I come from the same kind of story. Single mom, you know, I cared a lot about my mom, you know, wanted to give her a return on her investment in me. She sacrificed everything. My mom, like, you know, has always been like top 5 in real estate, individual real estate agent in Las Vegas. At one point, to go get insurance for my sister, she went and worked at Starbucks, at our local Starbucks, where like our friends and family went to. Like, I can't imagine how embarrassing that was for her to go just to get insurance because it was cheaper for her to do that. Or it wasn't necessarily cheaper. It was necessary for her to do that at the time. And I was like, dude, I am going to give my mom a return on her investment.
Yeah, that was like your wake up call.
Yeah, big
Everybody
time,
needs
big
that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same point, like you said earlier, when push came to shove and it was super hot, getting my teeth kicked in on doors, like my mom wasn't really actually, at a certain point, right? Past all that stuff, my mom wasn't going to motivate me to keep on going. My mom got me going and kept me going, but there was a certain breakthrough that I think a lot of people, they get to that breakthrough and they don't have enough purpose. They don't have enough why. They're not driven enough to be able to go through that. And it sucks because like we had so much unrealized potential. They say the graveyard is, you know, is where the most unrealized potential is. And first of all, I'm just excited to continue to follow your journey. Glad that we've stayed connected, you know, over the last few years, and that you hit your golden door. Looking forward to having you on the show, obviously, again in the future. And I think that you need to at least three-peat, because if you're as dialed in as you are now at 19, you're really acting like a 30-year-old, like a mature 30-year-old, not like my high school friends 30-year-olds.
Right.
Some of those kids still don't have it together. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, like I'm 32 now. I'm like, dude, some of my friends or like people I went to school with are still in the same spot. And I'm like, why? What? And I love what you said. You said it's not their fault. They just don't know what they don't know. And that's so true. And I'm very much that way as well, where I'm like, I don't blame people for being in there. I don't have sympathy for them. I have empathy for them. I'm like, they just didn't read the books. They didn't meet the mentor. They didn't have a mountaintop experience. They didn't have a come to Jesus moment, if you will, like I have. Or maybe they did, and maybe they didn't use it yet, or maybe they didn't leverage it yet, or whatever. But it's just so encouraging to hear a 19-year-old young man when in reality you're acting like a 30, 35-year-old. And I'm just excited to see that you actually like to reflect, which is I personally believe of the thousands of people that I've coached, mentored.
I reflect every night, bro. It's
Bro, yeah. It's so people are so afraid of it because they don't want to get. It's like a fat person that doesn't want to get on the scale. It's like, no, dude, you got to get on the scale.
Yeah, like
you got to get on the scale.
Like I'm okay with sleeping like an extra 30 minutes less to reflect, or like an hour less to reflect, because it keeps me going for the next day. Yeah, and like it's kind of like part of the job. Like you have to reflect, because like how are you going to grow if you don't know where where you're starting from, right? Or like where you came from.
Oscar, people don't know that. Yeah. Like, dude, there's so many people that I'm like, dude, you're like 1-2 degrees off. Like you're right there. You're right there. Like you got it, right? You've got everything that is needing to be a top performer in your career, in your life, and reach your ultimate destiny. You have it. You're 1-2 degrees off. And one of those, I'm telling you, bro, is they're afraid to reflect. And I've talked about this for years and years, wrote it in my book. I wrote a bunch of articles about this, but people are so afraid of measuring backwards because it's so much pain. Yeah. And they don't turn their pain into.
You have to own it, embrace it.
But it's hard because the 19 to 35-year-olds were taught, like, if you have pain, that's not God's calling for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, first of all, where in the Bible was it easy for any of them? The disciples got murdered, killed. Like if they go, oh, these people don't like us, they're trying to kill us, let's get out of here. No, these dudes ran. They're like firefighters. They ran into the fire when everyone else was running out. And you were talking about like being a 1%er. It's like, dude, it's not that much different. It's actually not like, it's not that much different. It's right. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Like I always tell everybody, like, because I have one-on-ones with like all of my guys, like once a week. And I always tell them like, I lost my thought right now. That's so funny. But I always tell them that, like we're the same. Like me and you, like we're no different. like we're literally the same person. We just have different habits and maybe some different ways of thinking. But me and you, like we get along so good. Do we not? And they're like, like we're friends. Like we go out to dinner, we hang out and stuff. And it's because we're alike. And if we're alike, then you should be able to do what I'm doing. But there's probably just something that you're not doing. But like, what does that mean? It means you're close. Just like you said, right? Like you're literally so close, right? But you kind of just have to have a bigger wake up call. Or I feel like I have wake up calls like every day. It's pretty crazy.
Preach.
Yeah. Like I feel like I tell my like everybody I'm a crazy guy. Like I always have so many thoughts going in my head at night. Like I'm always looking at pictures, like old pictures every night, and like I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm wasting time. But it's part of the success. It's part of the reason I get up so early every day. It's part of the reason that I like I'll look at pictures and then I'll start like journaling, or like I'll look at pictures and I'll get a thought and then I start writing on the whiteboard, whatever it is, right? And and I feel like that's just doing the most to get the most. A lot of people want to do the least to get the most, and which is not bad, right? But maybe that's why you are where you are. Like you're okay with being good as long as you're taking it easy, or like even being super close to like super good, right? Or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, but if you're really doing the most, you'd be reflecting, you'd be praying a little bit more, you'd be journaling at the end of the day, you'd be reading one more book. And I feel like that's the difference. Like, that's the difference between me and somebody who's not fully there yet. Or like golden door winners and like normal sales reps. Like, you guys are doing the least to get the most. Like, you guys are doing good, right? Like, you guys are making like multiple six figures, like awesome, hooray, right? But like, what's stopping you from really getting there? Like, I just don't think you're doing the most to get the most. Like, you're probably doing everything that you should be doing in work, but maybe you're not doing everything you should in your personal life. Like, maybe you're doing the most in work, but not the most in yourself. So that kind of makes it like doing the least to get the most, right? Yeah. But if you want to do the most to get the most, like every aspect of your life has to be as dialed as it can, right? Like yeah. An extremist. And I feel like it's just being aggressive all the time. Like Chandler was always super big on this, but like you just want to default aggressive, because like me personally, I've never been more upset. I've never regretted being aggressive, but I've regretted being too soft.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like we study these different.
That's a good point.
Right. Yeah. I just thought about that right now. But like there's these different personality quadrants. Like there's a serpent and a rabbit and a golden retriever. Like you want to have each one of those like super, super good. And some people just are too blind to be the serpent or to be the rabbit, right? But they're good at golden retriever, or they're good at one of those. I mean, maybe that's what's stopping them from reaching their full potential.
Wow.
And like me myself, like I always had a problem of being either a rabbit or a golden retriever. Especially sales guys. Like sales guys, like we're always like, how's everything? Everything's good, bro. Everything's good. Life's awesome. You know, like energy drinks, you know, gym, but like we're never serpent. And serpent is just thinking what can go wrong, right? Because what can go wrong will go wrong, right? And I feel like that's what helped me a lot this year. And I learned it at V3 actually, because they're huge on self development and mastering every every trait that we can have. And like they always told me, like you're too golden retriever, like you're too rabbit, you know, like you're too friendly, right? Like it's good for recruiting and stuff, right? And hard worker, which is good, but to work on your business, like you literally have to be more analytical. And I had that problem. I wasn't like I had a little bit of serpent in me, obviously, right? But I had to be more aggressive. I was like a chill serpent, and now I'm an aggressive serpent. And I feel like that's the difference.
No, that's a big deal. Something that I had a little breakthrough there is, and I've been talking about this a long time and kind of just like working through it. So our generation, and we hear like a mentor of mine is Ed Milet and Andy Frisella. I was in Arte, their mastermind a couple of years ago. And one of the things I learned about them, and you hear this like Alex Hormozi, you mentioned him. He says this too. A lot of these guys, a lot of these top guys will say this, like, when you get into entrepreneurship, you're a small business, you go from working 9 to 5 to 5 to 9, right?
Yeah,
24/7, right? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I got home at like almost 11 o'clock last night, and my calendar yesterday, first appointment was at 7:30 a.m. So what the biggest, I think, misunderstanding about our generation, about a lot of these, influencers that are on the internet, is they are saying this, most of them, but there's a majority of them that are not talking about this enough, which is why I like to bring it up on the show, because I think it's super important. Is when you get into entrepreneurship, whatever field that is, it is going to be 10 times harder than you think it is. Like, and whenever I did recruiting in my door-to-door career, and I still tell people this today, like if they come and work for me, I basically try to like discourage them.
Yeah, you want to scare them away.
To not work for me. Like that's the goal. The goal is to scare you off now, because if you don't have what it takes now, it's going to take a year and a half, 2 years to even get you there. And we don't unfortunately have time for that. Like you need to go work on yourself, go read some books, go get, buy some courses or whatever. Like it's all free on YouTube, right? That's what I did. When I didn't have any money, I just went on YouTube, screen recorded or downloaded, illegally downloaded YouTube videos and just replayed those over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this is kind of what I thought is it's the idea that our generation, 20 and 30-year-olds, are to work harder, not smarter. And I understand that now is the end goal. Work smarter, not harder. And that is the end goal, I would say, maybe a part of the end goal. But in the beginning, it needs to be work hard, work harder, not smarter, work harder, not smarter. Then the next phase is work harder and work smarter. Yeah. And then you go to work smarter, not harder. Like the rooms that I'm in, I was so pissed last week because one of these guys that I'm around a lot, like the dude just chills all day long, pretty much. And I'm like, bro, how are you a multi-freaking millionaire? And it's because this dude went through those phases, got a little bit of blessing, a little bit of luck, however you want to call it. And now he's working smarter and not harder. He's putting together deals there's a deal that he brought me in on. That's a $400 million deal. Jeez. With roughly $40 million in commission. It's a massive solar project. Wow. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, wait, what? I'm over, but don't forget, Mikey Lucas 10 years ago was working 6.5 days a week, knocking doors full time, sun up to sundown, dark 30, bro. And then in houses until dark. And in the beginning, I think that you see what I'm trying to say here. It's like, I'm trying to say here is like, I think that people in their 20s, they want it too fast. And it's like, you're not listening to Gary Vee. You love Gary Vee, but you're not listening to him. What he says is that it's going to take you sometimes 10 years to get to become a millionaire. But are you willing to wait that long to get to that point? Is it worth it? You said earlier, it's worth it. Is it worth it for you to actually go through that to become who you need to be so that when you get the $1 million, you don't lose the $1 million? Jim Rohn says, if you get $1 million, pray that you become a millionaire. Because if you're still a thousandaire or tenionaire, right, you're going to lose all the money. You're going to spend it all and it's going to be gone, which is obvious in people that have hit the lottery. It's like over 70-something% of them are broke within 5 years. And almost all of them are broke within 10 years. And that is disturbing, bro. But crazy. I think some of the main things here is that people are not reflecting on what they're doing, right? They write their goals down in January and then they sit in a drawer. It's like, dude, if that's your goals, they should be on the back of your freaking cell phone. Like you should have them everywhere so that you're not distracted. Yeah. We live in a very distracted era. It's everything. Sorry
to cut you off, bro, but like something huge before I forget is like I would set constant like hour reminders of like why I'm doing this or like what or like little quotes that would push me. I just say like hour reminders. I still have them to this day.
I love that.
And like one of them growing up was like I would rather have nothing than not have everything. And that just kept me to like this super like hard working.
I love that. Yeah. So in the beginning, as your entrepreneur journey, you have to work harder and not smarter because you don't know how to work smarter. And then eventually you start to get mentors and you start reading books and going to seminars and things like that, masterminds, whatever. Then you're working harder and smarter. And that's when your income starts to 3, 4, 5, 10x. And then eventually you're able to work smarter and not harder. And that's kind of like the path that I see. So I kind of had that little breakthrough there because I see a lot of guys that are in their 40s and 50s now. Some guys in their 30s that they have kids and they worked super, super hard in their 20s, which is exactly what I was told to do, which is exactly what I did to a T. Don't regret not one single day. Don't regret one single day in my 20s. I did exactly what they told me to do. Became a millionaire, had multiple six figures a month in passive income, hit 30. And I was like, now what? And I was like, I hit all my goals. I blasted some of them out of the water. Now what am I going to do? So now, how to have that whole recycle of the, the cycle of life, the season. But anyways, yeah, no, that was a nice little breakthrough I had there, dude. I think that people want the destination, and I understand that. And I am actually against that whole saying of like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I do get that, but I don't think that relates to our generation. I think it's like, no, dude, I'd rather like live life now, YOLO, like live it up now. It's like, yes, that's fine. But I think, and I'm convinced, and I see this all the time, that people are not willing to sacrifice, like you were saying, delayed gratification. I wanted to talk about that really quick. I don't believe it's delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, I believe, has left people without hope. Delayed gratification. It's delayed return. It's delayed return. Delayed return is when you have ultimate clarity on if you do this amount of work, half that amount of work, a quarter of that amount of work, what you're going to get. When you can draw it out, at that point, you can determine how much pain you want to handle. And sometimes it's a slower process, but it's just a slower process. Sometimes it takes people, years to hit a golden door sometimes. And, it takes people years to even hit $100,000. But, again, it comes back to that like foundation of you having your purpose, you having your why, you having your motivations there. And then also at the same time, you're going back, you're getting on the scale, you're practicing, right? You're also leading. So it's helping you get better because you're leading and you're teaching. It's like this potion, if you will, this formula, right? Of how is Oscar going to go and three-peat in door-to-door sales and then create multiple Golden Door Award winners around him and give people opportunities. And dude, you have it. Like you're right there. That's awesome, dude. Keep moving forward. Obviously make sure that you do what you're already doing by reflecting on what could go wrong. Because as Murphy's Law says, what can go wrong will go wrong. And anticipate it. I think that's so smart, so mature of you, bro, to say that you have planned or anticipated the sacrifices that you were needing to do. People get blindsided. They just get blindsided. And that's what kicks them off. And then they wonder like, why am I not hitting my goals? Why am I not getting to where I want to be? Why is all these other guys doing it? It's freaking Oscar Pena again, stupid idiot, 19-year-old kid. I'm freaking 29. I can't even hit, right? It's like, this kid got lucky. This must have bought leads, whatever. It's like, whatever. It's like, oh yeah, get off me, right? But the fact that you anticipated or planned the sacrifices, there was another guy that was on the show a couple of years ago that said he had to pre-overcome those sacrifices, like telling his wife, telling his mom, telling his family, this is what's going to happen. This is where I'm going. I need you guys either on board or get the hell out of the way because this is my calling. And as a man, I was like, dude, that's mad respect that you can go to your family and basically tell them that like, hey, this is my plan. This is where I'm going. I want you on board. I want you, but I don't need you.
Yeah, it's huge.
That delayed return. In the beginning, you talked about, if we can go back a second, because I know we gotta land this plane here pretty soon. But dude, I've already got like a ton of notes, dude. You were talking the whole time. I freaking love it. And I was like, yes.
And I get too into it.
No, you're good. That was great. This is amazing, dude. So you had some. I want to talk about. I should have talked about this earlier, but it's okay. I want to talk about the mental barriers that you had. Let's talk about those. You said you had a bunch of mental barriers. You craved a father figure. Everyone was against you, right? And you're like, no biggie. So what were the mental barriers that you had to break through? And then what are some of those now that you're going through?
Yeah. So it's really just figuring out what actually matters, right? Like, as we talked about earlier, knowing what it's going to take and just setting proper expectations. But it did catch me by surprise before I actually understood what it was going to take. Like when my mom started telling me stuff, right? When my friends started telling me stuff. Like when I first started, like I'd have people like on Instagram, like, oh, like what are you talking about? Like you're crazy, like dude, like you're in high school, relax, right? But just knowing, like I always understood what it took, and I was willing to do it because like it's always been in my head. It takes what it takes. It takes what it takes, right? So it's like, okay, these people are against me, but they don't have what I want. So it doesn't matter. Right. And it's coming to that understanding that they're not you. Right. They're not you. People are never going to understand you. like they're just not, especially if you're a one percenter. Like, don't expect them to. Like, set proper expectations with yourself. That way, when something happens, it doesn't catch you off guard. Also, like, I'm very, like, I'm a high believer of God, right? Like I grew up Christian, still Christian to this day. So I've always had God on my side, always pray every night, every morning, middle of the day, before I drive, before I go into an appointment, like, as I'm knocking, whatever it is. And I really think, like, God helped me out a lot too. I've always prayed. I've always had faith, not only on God, but that gave me faith with myself. Gave me faith that that I am achievable, that I can do what I want to achieve. But it's really just self-reflecting, right? Like if I had a bad day, a bad month, like, I'd come home, like I've cried in bed so many times, but no one's ever, like, seen that, right? But, like, it's just crying. It's like, this sucks. This is hard, right? And it's like not running away from it, because I could have just went to sleep right after, right? Like, I'm sad, I'm going to sleep, whatever. I would have woke up the next day super sad again, and that's depression, right? You just don't do anything. But, like, when I was sad, like, I just stay up all night. Like, I just sad, crying, like, and then, like, after all the emotions are over, like, I'm like, okay, like, why is this happening? Like, why am I sad? Like, it's like, this is part of it, right? Like everybody talks about the struggle. I think this is my struggle, right? Like, okay, like, this is what I wanted. So I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to accept it. Like these people just don't know. Like, I grew up in Pomona, right? So it's like, so it's like, I don't want to stay in Pomona, right? So, like, after all the emotions are over, it's like, I don't care, right? It's like these people are like, these people are nothing, right? Like 10 years, 5 years from now, these people are going to be bums, right? Like, doesn't matter, right? It's like, I'm going to do and that gave me more motivation to do what I said I was going to do, right? Like, something really big that we all believe, at V3 is, like, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Not because you want to, but because you said you were going to do it. And by me telling my mom, like, all my goals, my friends, posting everything, whatever it was, it's like, how embarrassing would it be if I did everything and I didn't achieve it? like I don't want that, so I'm just gonna stick through it and handle the adversity. Like, it's okay, own it. And it's all thanks to Alexis too, my mentors, right? So, like, the only like if I had no mentors, I'd probably like I don't know where I'd be. Like, that adversity would have probably made me depressed, right? That's why, like, I don't blame anybody who doesn't think like that, right? But if you're listening to this now, like, take the information and like, use it, right? Because if you're watching this, it's for a reason, right? So, like, I am the way I am because of my mentors, the information that I had. If it wasn't for them, wouldn't be here. So, thankfully, I had them by my side, them pouring into me. They brainwashed me, right? Like, you have to get brainwashed. Like, everybody gets brainwashed one way or another. Like you either get brainwashed into, like, going to school, into being calm, being relaxed, being aggressive, but you have to get brainwashed. Religion, brainwashed, everything is brainwashed, right? But I just had to understand, what kind of brainwashing do I want? Because I'm 14, I'm 15, whatever. Like, what I do right now is going to be who I am when I'm 18, because, like, your childhood is kind of who makes you in your teen years and in your like early ages of being an adult. And thankfully, I was able to get brainwashed by good people. So, like, I give all my success to them, right? But I did always look for it. Like, I would bug the hell out of Alexis and Brian. Every 2 hours I call them. Every 2 hours, or like every 30 minutes I text them. Like, I knock the door, like, I had a crazy guy, like, oh dude, like, I almost got this guy, and this guy, like, freaked out on me, right? And then if it wasn't at work, like, it'd be like 9 p.m. Like, bro, like I'm struggling. I'm listening to my voice memos and I don't understand, like, what I'm doing wrong, right? Or, like, bro, like, my mom's, like, getting mad at me because I didn't do my homework, whatever it was, right? It's like, they were always there, and they were always there, and they kept me up, they kept me in good spirit, and they just brainwashed me into being an overall very good individual. So if you know people that have what you want, bug them, You know, what's the worst that could happen, right? Like they'll like block you, you go find another one, right? But yeah, like just bug the hell out of your mentors. You know, like it's never too much information, and like I just wanted to be there so bad. Like I'd watch like little like motivational videos, right? I'd have like pictures of cars in my wall, pictures of money, like this, but like my whole room was a mess. And I was like, I was just so obsessed. And I was like, these guys have what I want. Like these are the only two people that I know, right? The only two people that I know. So like I just bugged them, and like I'm still very close to those guys to this day. Like I love those guys to death.
Yeah, the brainwash thing. I think people. There's a quote that I read recently by Brian Tracy. He said something along the lines of, the problem is that people think that only what they want to count counts, but everything counts.
It counts.
And on that same note, is you're right, Oscar. Like you will be brainwashed. You will be coached one way or another. And dude, I sit back and I listen to people. Like I was just in Vegas and I was around family and I'm like, man, you live 30, 40, 50, 60 years with just thinking that life was out to get you. And I dive into that. They call it the Dickinson method, I think is what it is, with Tony Robbins. We did it at Unleash the Power Within, and then again at Date with Destiny, where you basically go with those negative thoughts that you have, those limited mindset. What's your life going to look like if you did this for 5 years? And then he goes to double it, triple it, go to 10 years. How bad is it going to be? It's an amazing experience. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. You should probably do it with your office and look into it. It's called the Dickinson effect, I think is what it's called. And it's basically like, it gets people to realize that if they don't make a decision to about turn and go the other direction, what the result, the negative or the positive consequences, the negative consequences in this case, with that same bullcrap, limited mindset, world's out to get me, basically the world revolves around me mindset, like when someone cuts you off and you freaking get pissed off at them, like, what is this? Your highway? It's like, what if they're late to their job and they got fired from the government recently and they're, the babysitter was late, so they're on the way to an interview. It's like, right, yeah. Is it actually that bad?
No
right?
Biggie.
Right. No biggie, dude. It's like, hey man, no big deal. Right. And I think that I just got to compliment you here. Like one of the things that I'm really understanding about you is that you're just like, you're not a go with the flow guy, but you're not affected because you're not affected by these little things. And I'm telling you that is, especially with me, if I start to allow those little things to affect me, I am off, I'm out of alignment, and I can't get anything done. I don't care how much willpower I have. And you have that. And just, I want to make sure that you know this and that the listeners hear this as well, is that Oscar, do not ever forget that. Don't sweat the little things. Control the controllables and influence the uncontrollables. Control the controllables. And it's like, dude, if you have that, your state will be in a beautiful state, happy, grateful state, dude, all the time. Like you're not going to get knocked off your horse. Just keep on going. It's no biggie. Hey man, flat tire, no biggie, right? No biggie, right? Customer canceled, no biggie. Bank didn't pay, no biggie.
And I feel like a big thing to that is just setting proper expectations, like just knowing what it takes, and like knowing and like prioritize what's important, right? Yeah. Like always have like your mind on what's important, and if it is that important, nothing else should be important, right?
Well, it sounds like you actually have clarity. So let's. I'm going to try to wrap it up here because I know you got to get moving here. How do you know what it takes, or rather, I think it's how did you figure out what it takes? Because I'm listening. I can hear people listening to this right now, and they're like, I don't know how to figure out what it takes. I don't know how to figure out what's important to me. What do you do?
Yeah, it's a lot of reverse engineering, a lot of reflecting, a lot of thinking how things can go wrong. And it's honestly like, it sucks. It's like, it's like the hardest.
In other words, you're not going to get it in the first time.
Yeah, you're not. It took like a year.
Right? Okay. Thank you. That's very good. Yeah. So in other words, if you try to figure out what it takes or, what's going to knock you off and you don't get it the first time, that's when most people quit. They just go, oh, screw it. I don't know. I don't know. And that's the same thing when it comes to money. When I talk to people about money, I talk to people about money all the time. They come to me, oh, Mikey, money. Like, I just don't know where to start. And I'm like, you don't know where to start? If I put a gun to your head and said, you got to make $100,000 this year in investments and in returns, you wouldn't know where to go. You would know where to go. You just don't have ultimate clarity on how to get there. And you haven't anticipated the things that could go wrong and will go wrong and decided. Like, it's so like frustrating to hear that. I'm like, dude, I have the same resources that you have, and I didn't have ChatGPT.
Right? Yeah. No, that's huge. Just it's like any other part of the journey. You're not going to do it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years. Like, expect the same thing with understanding what it takes, But I'd say it all comes down to your urgency, right? Like, some people can take like 3 years, 5 years, but if you have a lot of urgency, then you do it quick. And I feel like the reason that I was able to have so much clarity and know what it takes is because my mom has arthritis, so I'd see her suffer, like her arms all swollen up, her feet swollen up. So like, to me, it was like, I don't know how much time I have, right? So I'm a very like urgent man, right? And like, even since I was a little kid, I was like, my sisters are older than me, right? And they're not doing too much for my family, like I have to hurry up, right? I have to be that man, and even when I didn't want to think about being that man, I would think about being that man because I knew that's like that's the only way to get quicker. It's like it takes the same amount of time for everybody, but you choose how quick you want to do it. So like, let's say it takes like 1,000 hours, right? No, let's say it takes like 1,000 times to try. Some people can try in a year. Some people can do those 1,000 hours in a month, in a week, right? So it's like, you choose how quick you want to do things. Like, you choose what matters and like, just prioritize it, be urgent about it. And if you don't know what it takes and you're taking too long, it's just because you don't care about it. Right. Or you don't care about what you're doing it for. Because if you did care, then you do it quicker. But you just don't care enough, So go back to finding your why before you know what it takes.
Yeah, and be okay with not having enough motivation for it, or not caring. Like, be okay with that. Good. Okay with it. Go do something else that you care about.
Yeah.
It takes what it takes, bro. It takes what it takes. Coming from a 19-year-old young man, like, you have no idea how happy I am right now hearing this from you. Super proud of you, dude. Like, I have it pulled up still, that text that you text me, or that DM that you sent me back in February last year. It's funny. I think that we talked about this prior, and I was like, I get texts like this all the time. I get DMs like this all the time. And there was something about you that I was like, I think this kid actually is going to do it. I swear to God, dude, I'm not kidding, on my sister's life, dude. Like, I was like, and we didn't really talk a ton, right? But like, you sent me that, and I was like, that was random, but I'll take it. And I was like, I think this kid's actually...
I was obsessed. That's all I cared about. I was like, oh, everybody. Yeah, this is everybody. Yeah, it didn't matter, right? But to me, like, that's all that mattered. So like, I just like, it's all energy. Like, it really all is energy. Just like sales is a transfer of energy. Like your work ethic. Like the universe will really reward you if like the universe knows that you're working hard. Like, I tell everybody that. Like you can be a good salesperson, but if you're not a good person overall, like, you still won't be good. Just because God, the universe, like, he just won't give it to you. He won't, because you don't deserve it. He won't. And it's like, it's a very abundant world that we live in. And as long as you do good and you do the best, you'll get the best. But if you're not, then don't expect the best, because you don't deserve it.
I think that's what a lot of people are out of alignment. And I've gone through this multiple times where I showed up mediocre and expected the best. And I think that's what people have an issue with, is that they're showing up mediocre. They're showing up half-assed. They're showing up with the corporate mindset of doing 64% because they don't want to be 50%, because those people are losers to them. Yeah. They show up 64% and they go, where's my raise at? And I'm like, where's your raise at? Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's because like, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Right. So, like, if you're being a good salesperson, like being ethical, being a good customer service, whatever it is, like, you should be like that with your wife, with your kids, with your mom, with every other part of your life. Like I'm 19, I'm married, not a kid, right? Like, like that's why I also feel like I got success at a young age, because like I'm a committed person, right? Like I wasn't only committed to the work, right? I was committed to my mom, I was committed to my wife, now I'm committed to my kid. Like I'm just a committed person overall. And if you really are committed, like whatever you're committed to, you should care about a lot. And if you care about them a lot, then you should have more urgency, right? So it's like just really digging down and seeing like, okay, this leads to this leads to that. Why do I care? I care about this because of that. It's like it's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of thinking, and it'll take a lot of time unless you want to sleep less, straight up, because it happens a lot at night. It does. It's weird, but it happens a lot at night. It happens in the morning. At the gym when you're driving. But accept it. Like own it. Like okay, you'll be 10 minutes late, but it's gonna change your business.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, dude. This has been awesome. I love this, dude. We started off really good and ended phenomenal. So, Oscar, dude, very appreciative of you coming on the show. This, I already know I'm going to get a bunch of DMs about this one. Very excited to continue to follow you on your journey, and looking forward to it. So, where obviously I like to promote. You said you were going to do social media. So
yeah.
if you followed, like you said in here, people that were doing, golden door years and things like that, or they're selling, high level products, and you followed them, now that should be your motivation to go and invest and create a content plan, even if it's once a week or once a month, but doing something that will add value back to the people that they're going to go and follow you.
Yeah.
So where can they find you? Where's the best place to find you, brother?
Instagram would be best.
Awesome. Yeah, what's your handle?
It's Oscar it's 3 R's, right?
Yep.
Yeah. _Pete.
Cool. I'll put it in the show notes below. That way you guys can go follow him. So Oscar, final words. What do you have for the Golden Door Award winners out there?
Say, understand what it takes and be willing to do what it takes and accept it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a super hard year. We're in February, so it's not too late. Go for it. Understand what it's going to take. Understand all the bad things that are going to happen, because they will happen, right? Understand the sacrifices and be willing to be okay with it. If you're not okay with it, then don't go for the Golden Door, because you won't be able to get it. But if you are okay with it, then you get it.
Love that. Oscar Pena, looking forward to seeing you on stage next year, brother. Thank you so much, man. God bless you. And great job being a great husband, a great father, and a great son.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon, brother. Thank you.
Talk soon.